Governor Pat Quinn. Governor.
Well, I'm very glad to be here today on this beautiful day, and I also want to thank all the folks who have come out. I think all of us had a good day yesterday honoring our mothers all across Illinois and across our country. Next month we'll honor our fathers, and I really feel that personally a lot of my life is due to the great work and tremendous example of my mom and dad. And I think all of us know that the great thing about America is that parents sacrifice some of their present in order to help their children's future. That's the best way that we can repay our debt of gratitude to our parents, is to make life better for our children and their grandchildren. That's really the heart and soul of our country. We're a future-oriented country. We understand that all of us, every single person in our country and definitely our state, we're custodians of the future. We have to take good care of those who come after us. We want to leave things better next time or after us than when we found them. And so that's sort of my attitude of being governor of Illinois. It's a challenging job. It's a privilege to be governor. It's a great honor. But I understand that my mission is to take good care of the future. And yesterday at my youngest brother's house, he has 3 daughters under 11. And the youngest is about 4 years old, and she has excellent early childhood preschool education. So she knows the entire state, the United States of America, every single state, she can say them. And she learned that in preschool. And I want to make sure as governor of Illinois that every 4-year-old and every 3-year-old, every young person with these inquisitive, curious minds has the best education possible. That's really what we have to do. We don't want any state to out-educate Illinois. We understand that what's at stake is the next generation, and so that's why today I wanted a chance to visit with everyone. I really do appreciate the forum of the City Club. It's really, I think, its great tradition of over a century is bringing people together who are leaders in different walks of life to hear elected officials and public officials and people who make things happen. That's what we have to do really in the next 17 days, because today's the 14th of May, and as you know, under our Constitution, the legislature has to finish its regular work by the 31st of May, 17 days. And we have some big work to do because our state is really at a crossroads. For some years, we've had more and more of our expenditures of our state budget devoted to 2 things. One is pensions, public pensions. The other one is Medicaid, our program for health care. Almost 3 million people are in the Medicaid system in Illinois. More than half the births of our society here in our state are done off the Medicaid system. So these are vital programs. Our public employees under the system that we have, about 22% of them are state employees. They actually work for the state of Illinois. But the state also provides retirement for teachers at the local level and also university and community colleges. So having a good pension system and a good Medicaid system, that has to be the goal of any good, decent society. And I'm certainly devoted to that. But we have found ourselves in Illinois with a situation that over the last number of years, more and more of our budget, now this year about 39% of our budget is devoted to just those 2 items. And as a result, there's a squeeze, a very serious squeeze on education, on public safety, on human services, all the other things that we want our government to do. There's less and less money available. And to put it in perspective, in 2008, our state put into the pension system about $1.7 billion, which is a lot of money. That was in 2008. In 2013, the upcoming budget year, will put $5.2 billion into the system. Triple, more than 3 times as much, $3.5 billion in just 5 years. Well, that's an enormous expenditure, and it obviously crowds out not only our expenditure on schools and on public safety, like our state police, on our human services that take care of people who need a helping hand. It also hurts our capital expenditures because we spend more and more money on the pensions of those who work in the transportation system than we do on repairing our roads and bridges and railroads and on that make us a strong state. So we really are at a moment in history. In our State of the State address, I said we have to have a rendezvous with reality. We have to deal with these two issues in a fair way, but also in a strong way in order to have a restructured Medicaid that focuses on health and wellness. And we also have to stabilize and strengthen our pension systems so those who have faithfully contributed to those systems get a retirement when they retire, get a decent retirement, but also at the same time, it doesn't end up where the state is devoting all of its money to either retirement or to Medicaid. So earlier this year, I proposed two plans, very responsible plans, to deal with both of these challenges. And we've had good luck. We've had working groups working on them, bipartisan, both parties, senators and representatives working together. They helped devise the plan. Ultimately, I had to propose the plan, and now we have to enact the plan in the next 17 days. We really are grateful to all of those who have supported us. A number of them are in this room. We've had the support of the Illinois Chamber of Commerce and the Illinois Manufacturers Association, retail merchants, the Civic Federation, which is a very renowned group, does a great job looking at budgets of state and city and county. They said that our proposals were really the key to a road to recovery for Illinois finance, to make sure that we have strong finance so we can invest in things like education in the future. Matter of fact, the Civic Federation said if we don't enact our Medicaid restructuring plan, within a short period of time, 2017, we'll owe $21 billion in the system, and it'll collapse. There'll be no way to maintain it. Now, I think it's very important to stress, I believe in decent health care for everyone, and I'm sure everyone in this room does too. And our Medicaid system is essential to having that mission carried out. But we have to have a system. If it collapses, if it's under a sea of debt where you can't pay the bills, then it's not a very good system for anybody, certainly not for the almost 3 million people who are in that system today. So we have to reform it. We have to reform the pensions. And that's why I wanted to talk today. We have plans that have gone forward, have had endorsements from just about every newspaper in the state. You know, they are tough. There's no question about it. Very difficult decisions when you talk about changing the way that people have operated for years and years. And I didn't, frankly, create the difficulties that we have in Medicaid and pension systems and their investment, but my job is here to solve those problems, and we will indeed solve the problem. And I think we can do it in a way that is the best example of Illinois democracy, where people band together and work together for a common good. And that really has to be our watchword over the next 2.5 weeks. We have to understand that reforming these systems and strengthening them so that we have sustainable systems that can operate without terrible debt, it really, for our children and their children, if we bequeath the debts that we have today on them, that's not a very good legacy. So I think this is an important moment for all of us in Illinois to come together and work together. And so I thought today this wonderful club, it has so many different people from so many different places, we need to have an action plan. We have to understand that in Illinois, democracy is not a spectator sport. We have to get involved. We cannot say this is just the mission of legislators alone. They need guidance. They need people from back home to tell them how important this is to our economy. If we're going to have a strong economy in Illinois, we must have a stable fiscal environment. And I think that's why all our business groups that have helped us, and we have some more that endorsed this today. I want to thank them for their help. I know Commonwealth Edison spoke out the importance of coming together on a nonpartisan basis to do the right thing, to make sure that we do have in Illinois economic growth and a stable economic environment for our businesses, large and small. I think this is exceptionally important because we're coming out of a grievous recession. All of us know how bad that was. It hurt our state. It hurt every state. But we have to understand that we're Americans. And with Clint Eastwood, we want the world to hear the mighty roar of our engines. And so our people in Illinois are working very hard on very many different tasks to strengthen our economy at the grassroots level. When I became governor, that was in 2009 in January, Chrysler in Belvedere, the very company that Clint Eastwood was talking about, they had 200 workers. And their chief executive called and they were on life support. And fortunately, President Obama stepped forward and our state stepped forward. And we worked together to help that company get back on its feet and the workers to get jobs. So this summer, they'll have 4,600 jobs at Chrysler Belvedere. They're going to make a Dodge Dart. It's gotten excellent ratings already from Consumer Reports, 40 miles to the gallon, 10 airbags, a very roomy trunk, and I hope you buy one. It'll help Illinois, help your state, help its workers. A matter of fact, in the 60s and 70s, the old Dodge Dart, which some young people never heard of, but I did, that sold 3.7 million vehicles. And the point of the matter is that we can build and make things in Illinois. Our companies, not only Chrysler, but Ford, now 3 shifts round the clock. We have Caterpillar, its best year ever last year. John Deere, same way. We have great, great companies in Illinois. McDonald's and our Baxter and Abbott and a variety of different businesses. And we have great, great workers. When Sergio Marchioni, who was the CEO of Chrysler, came to Belvedere to announce that they're going to build a new Dart there, he told me the reason he picked Illinois is because of the workers, the skill and the enthusiasm of our hard-working men and women. And we should never sell them short. And that's why we have to rise to the occasion right now in government. We have to understand that the people of Illinois are depending on us. They're depending on those in government to make very hard, important decisions for today and for tomorrow. You know, you only get to be 4 years old once. You don't get to be 4 twice. And if you don't get that early childhood education, or if you don't have good K-12 education, or if our community colleges aren't there for folks who may get laid off, get a bad break in the economy, but want to get training to get a new job, to become a welder, to work at Chrysler, if those monies aren't available to invest in those community colleges and our 4-year universities, our economy will falter. We won't do as well as we should. And the future of our kids and their kids will not be as bright as it should be. So I think what we have to do is really put our shoulder to the wheel in the next 17 days. We want you to call today, call tomorrow, call every day. Legislators, even if you don't know them, they don't have to be leaders, but let them know that the stakes are very high. Part of our Medicaid program is to raise the price of cigarettes through a cigarette tax. Now some say, oh no, I can't vote for a tax. Well, what do we want? Cigarettes or education? Are we going to save cigarettes and lose children in their education? It's worth about $700 million if we don't do it right. Because if we raise the price of cigarettes in Illinois, we can get a federal match of almost $350 million from Washington for our Medicaid system. And we can invest that money in a way that creates a better system, a wellness system, a prevention system. Too much of our Medicaid today in fee-for-service is a provider payment system. It doesn't always look at the outcomes of those who are in the Medicaid system. So we want a better system, a restructured system that's focused on wellness. And we can do that in an economical way that does provide decent health care. But we do need to invest in that and get federal money for that. So that's what's part of our plan in the Medicaid. We have reductions and cuts and efficiencies. We have to do that if we're going to save the program. We need to save $2.7 billion this year, this fiscal year. Otherwise, as I said, we're under an ocean of debt. Same way with our pension system, dealing with retirement age, dealing with the issue of COLA, the cost of living adjustment, dealing with the contribution of employees, also those who are employers. Those are things that are tough, not easy, oftentimes resisted. People complain and say somebody else should do it, not me. But we have to understand in a democracy, it's all based on people working together and sometimes sacrificing together for the common good, for the future. That's what our parents have done. That's what our mothers have done, and our fathers as well. They did sacrifice some of their present to help our future. Now it's our turn. And I really feel that Illinois will rise to the occasion in these next 17 days. I look forward to working with everybody here to make that happen. If we accomplish these Herculean tasks of restructuring the Medicaid system, reforming the pension system, our reforms in the pension system really will make this a 100% funded system over the next 30 years, a system that you can count on, that's sustainable, that has secure retirement. It'll really help our state not only today with respect to our credit rating and getting access to the credit markets in a very low interest way, but it'll also help us as we drive to the future, as we lower our unemployment. Every month in the last 7 months, we've had lower unemployment. We have increasing jobs. We have more 25 to 34-year-olds in downtown Chicago, in the Chicago area, than any other place in the United States. We're a digital startup leader right now. We understand how important it is to be involved in the 21st century economy based on information and knowledge and making sure that everybody is in and nobody is left out. That means we do have to invest in a great education system. For my nieces, for your children and your relatives, I think all of us are in this together. If we work together, we can make the will of people the law of the land. Thank you very much.